They just can't. Okay, cool. So, okay. Um, so we're 5 minutes after. I'm just practicing for the White House, so I gotta keep. Okay, so you can see the screen okay, and you can hear me okay, right, Dr. Smiles?
Correct, McKen.
Okay, Gwich'in Climate Report. Okay, you see it, right? The Gwich'in Climate Report.
Yes, yep, I see the
Okay,
first slide.
okay, all right, cool. A regional climate impact report soon to be released. It was done on multiple villages, all the main, what I call the Gwich'in Belt, um, Fort Yukon, Vinitai, Arctic Village, the three main villages. It was done in 2005 with a prestige by a prestigious fellowship from the National Wildlife Federation, combined with a generous grant from the Arctic Borderlands Ecological Knowledge Network in Canada. So basically, it was funded by two countries. Um, oh shoot. Okay. So it's soon to be released as a joint publication by the University of Utah, Colorado, and Alaska Presses. Any week from now to March at the latest, they're trying their best to get it out when they heard that even the White House was interested. Um, Climate change is nothing new. Indigenous voices on climate change is ongoing across the world. So celebrities are involved. Billionaires from the private sector are involved too. Climate change is a huge challenge, but it can be brought in line if governments, businesses, and individuals work together. Richard Branson, billionaire owner of Virgin Records. What makes Gwich'in Climate Report unique in the global climate crisis? The Gwich'in are in Alaska, and Alaska has been a forecast to the world. What happens there happens next in the rest of the world. Gwich'in and the villages are not protesting. They're explaining in scientific detail the impacts of climate change down to mice and all the way to major climate pattern shifts. It's a detailed account of the impacts to the ecosystem and its resulting effects on humans. Their ecological knowledge is amazing. I took biology and studied countless environmental climate books, videos, and I learned from experts in Washington, D.C. when I won the prestigious fellowship. And I went to countless lectures, and I have a master's degree, and they were teaching me things. They were teaching me new things. That's how amazing their knowledge was. Uh, they didn't just talk about impact too, but solutions. It didn't surprise some of them because climate change didn't surprise some of them, especially the elders, because effects to the atmosphere were prophesized in Gwich'in culture. Gwich'in management, just checking, you still there, Dr. Smiles?
I
Hey,
am
Dio.
still
Oh, okay, cool.
here, yeah.
Okay. Gwich'in elders want to emphasize the Gwich'in culture itself as a solution to Gwich'in people to adapt and combat climate impacts. They saw it as a two-front war, saving their disappearing culture and using that to face climate change. Family areas to avoid overuse of a lake. I explained that in the Gwich'in maps. Brush cutting, caribou trails, and controlled burns with grasses and many other management things they did. Um, this is one elder's observations, the tremendous difference from childhood when he was an elder, Gideon James. Sorry, this thing is in the way. Try to move it. Sorry, that thing is in the way. Okay, so son, when he was a kid in the 50s, there wasn't that many planes. Because airplanes were just starting to take over the skies, right? There's like one or two that went by once a month, you know. So he said in the 50s, the clouds were all puffy and white, and the sun rays, the UV rays, he said they were hot, but they never burned you and they never made you sweat. He said the plants were all green and everything. And he said that he could walk to the mountain, which is a good 3 miles away, 2 to 3 miles away from here, the mountain, which is Dutch Unlet, Timberline Mountain in English, but we call it Dutch Unlet. He said he'd walk there and he wouldn't break a sweat. But he said now because of all the planes going by now, almost every day, the sky is polluted and the clouds are not puffy anymore, and they're more hazy like and misty like, and they're dirty and they're darker. The UV rays, they now burn his skin and they now make him sweat, and now he's and the plants are no longer green, they're brown and pink and all sorts of colors. Uh, um, Other elders say it's because of all the exhaust from all the vehicles and just all the pollutants in the air. Um, the environment's a lot more sensitive than people think, you know. Um, so Gideon says now when he walks to the mountain, he breaks his sweat, and he never used to do that because the sun rays are worse now. Normal lake, as you can see there, permafrost under the lake, which sustains it. And then that's the normal lake right there. And all the animals like fish and everything is in it. And that's the water table, that little thing that looks like an ice cube, but it's really the lake from a side view of the water table. Moose drink water from the lake and then the sun rays. So now the permafrost is gone underneath it. So what happens is that the water from the lake percolates into the ground now and drains out. Our land is full of drained out lakes. The resources are gone, fish is gone, muskrat's gone. So that's one reason. It's a whole resource Gwich'in lose. So imagine losing 100 lakes and the scarcity that that's gonna cause. You know, moose they get intoxicated because they drink the shallow lake water, and it's higher in acidity and higher in it's just high in acidity and stuff, you know, pH level. So it makes them intoxicated, according to hunters in the Yukon Flats. They say they see moose staggering and stuff. It's because they're drinking that really shallow, high pH water. Um, Changes in animal migration routes, caribou route shrinking. They used to go to the village south of here. They don't anymore. That's a horrible map, but it's the best we could have done in 2005. I didn't have time to redo it with Google Earth now. Duck flying patterns have changed. They used to come from the south over the village and make everyone happy. Now they actually go on the airplane route, which is they make a hook. They turn. They arc. They fly north away from the village and they arc back, so they don't see them flying over anymore. That's very odd to them because they're duck hunting people. It's just kind of a swamp village, you know. Salmon migration in Fort Yukon, Lower Village. Oh, I'm sorry. The caribou is the Arctic Village area. Middle part is the Vinnytai area. In Fort Yukon's the third part. Fort Yukon, they're seeing changes in salmon migration. It's shifting further north, and the salmon's aging slower, meaning their meat is still good by the time they reach Vinnytai way up there at the top of that red thing. Usually their meat is bad because they've aged by the time they've got there. And Vinnytai people can't really eat them. They feed them to the dogs. But now with climate change, they're aging slower and their migration shifting north more. And so they're able to eat them, which is very odd, you know, because they're used to trading Gwich'in and Fort Yukon for them. Further climate impact changes. You still there, Dr. Smiles? I just want to make sure because of our terrible connection.
Yep, I'm still here,
Okay,
Matt.
cool. Season shifts and temperatures are off. Winters are coming later. Spring is arriving, staying around longer. It's cold in summers and warm in winters. Small game are gone or very scarce. Fox, wolverine, ptarmigan, a type of grouse, beaver. You know, in case people are not from Alaska, beaver. It goes on and on. I can't name everything. Uh, Birds, because we don't have time. You know, I'm practicing for the White House. Sorry. Birds. Some species are gone, like the snipe, and migrations shift earlier. They fly south earlier, no, 2 weeks earlier sometimes. No, according to elders, there's no singing. They don't sing anymore. Invasive animals, and there's invasive animals and insect observations. Gathering is affected too. Blueberries are sparser, and the ripening season is shorter. So the women basically have to run out and pick them really quick, you know, because yeah, they go bad fast now. Salmon berries are scarce to gone, according to some elders. And not only people depend on those, grizzly bears, all sorts of animals depend on them. These are all important too, because if you're a hunter, if you're a Gwich'in person, you're lost in the woods and you can't find animals, what are you going to eat? Berries, right? So in UV rays will get worse, and we might all need sunglasses in the future, one elder said, because he said he read in the news that the sheep in Sweden are going blind because the sun, the UV is burning in their eyes. Um, he said that's a harbinger of things to come for us humans. He said we're next, basically, um, uh, if climate change worsens. Gwich'in Solutions, like I said, they weren't just crying about impact, they were also offering the world solutions. Better co-management relations with Fish and Wildlife Service and other government agencies as a way to fight climate change, employment, harvest, and fish counts, predator control, clearing streams, and meat quality reporting. They could all create employment for Gwich'in people. Intertribal collaborations like this recent Indigenous Futures Lab, um, courtesy of you, Dr. Smiles, thank you. Uh, Intertribal collaborations like that. I already heard that elders from Ethiopia and Brazil are already collaborating on climate stuff. It was pretty cool. I read an article about that somewhere. The world is the two elders said this. One of them is gone now, Timothy, but Gideon's still with us. But they both said this. They said the world is the problem, not us, LA and New York. Like you said, if you stood on the LA freeway, probably 100,000 cars will go by you in 5 minutes, you know. So they're the problem, not us, you know. Um, Everyone needs to be like Gwich'in. I thought that was clever statement someone said. 2020 update. Uh, I figured the research would be repeated, and I put all this in the closet because I wasn't getting a full-time job out of it, and uh um I wasn't getting the support that I wanted, you know. Maybe it's too new, I don't know. But I put it in the closet and I got a normal job and I thought somebody else would do it. But 15 years go by and no one's done anything like what I've done here. It's still new and still relevant. So I brought it back out thanks to a grant from Fish and Wildlife. So and oh, they want me to do an update too before they published my report. So this is what happened in 15 years since that first report you just heard. Overgrowth of vegetation and runaway forestation got worse. Vegetation explodes every summer. It's really starting to become a jungle now, my Aunt Dina says in Arctic Village. Weather variability and weather's the weather variability is rising and weather violence is getting worse at the Washington. Me and this native guy were at the Washington. Julius, me and him were at the Washington in one of the villages, Vinitai. We were doing our laundry and we had t-shirts on because it was hot and we lived like next door, right? He lived not that far, me too. I didn't live that far, and we were in there with t-shirts, and then it was because it was hot and it was clear out, no clouds. And then I swear, like 20 minutes later, it was pouring rain out and cloud cover everywhere. We were amazed. Yeah, we weren't dressed for it because it was just hot just like 20 minutes ago, you know? So that shows you how much the weather is changing. It shows you how fast it's changing. Can't keep up with it, you know? The thunder is violent, even knocked out our electricity one summer, which was just shocked everybody. One elder, he said he swears window even cracked when the thunder hit. Children were even hiding under tables. Lightning is a new danger. My uncle Daryl said that long ago it never used to be a danger to Gwich'in people. It used to be always far away. He said they'd see it far away, but it would never come near the village. He said now it comes near the village. Um, One summer I was bringing back laundry on the reservation, and there were lightning strikes so close, and I had to run home or walk really fast. You know, I didn't want to get struck, and uh, I've played in the rain, and I even thought thunder was cool when I was a kid, but I've never ran away from lightning like that. So shows you how much the weather is getting bad, you know. because that's really new. Running from lightning, I've never done that before. And like I said, I played in the rain all through childhood. Uh, and speaking of rain, there's rains of increase. It's basically starting to look like Juneau here, rainforest, and it's not supposed to be. We're interior, we're not a rainforest. Clouds are thicker and better. My grandpa says that they're Inupiaq clouds. Inupiaq meaning, the popularly known as Eskimos, but we call them traditionally Inupiaqs. Um, he lived with them on the coast, and he said he pointed to the clouds. He said, these are their clouds. They're not our clouds. Um, Season shifts are quicker. There was a picture I really, really want to load. It showed a table in the water on our bank, a table that they used to cut fish that they just got from the river. Usually, they know the river, they know the water's rising, and so they take the table and everything out of the shore, right? But the water rose so quickly that they didn't have time. And you see, I took a picture of the table and the water to show you how people can't keep up with the change. It's just really odd how quickly things are changing in the environment. I didn't feel this winter. I didn't feel comfortable driving on the rivers or lakes until December and January, which is just extremely, extremely shocking because I remember when I was 12 years old, me and my friend, we just got a new video game and this was in mid-September, at least mid-September. I remember us sliding along the thick ice of that this same river I'm talking about in mid-September. We would we didn't have skates, just with our shoes. We'd slide along the ice and we crossed it at this one part, and that was in mid-September. And now I can't even cross it even in January. I can't even cross it until like December and January, which is just amazing, the difference. Shocking. Yeah, I don't want to use the word amazing because that's positive. This is not positive. Animal nuisance, squirrels, mice, birds, they're bothering the houses more. They're hanging around the village more. I hear mice in the walls all the time. I had to trap a couple of them because they were being so nuisant. They never used to do that. When I was a kid, I never heard mice running around the walls like that. And the squirrels, my aunt, she's older than me. She's like 15 years older than me. And she said that she's never ever seen squirrels near Arctic Village. Now they're everywhere. Uh, the birds, that's very interesting. My Aunt Dina, the birds, sometimes they tap on people's window and it kind of like weirded people out, and nobody knew why they were doing that. But my Aunt Dina said, she said the reason they're doing that is because they're not finding food on the land and they're trying to bother us for food. COVID-19 was predicted by one of the elders because he said the warming and the differences all the air is making and everything is going to create a condition for worse diseases to come out. He said this in '05, so he predicted the coronavirus. Some animals returned, like the sandpiper, what we call dill. It's like an alarm bird. Um, they were gone for a while, but a lot of animals are returning. I'm thinking it's um, because us native people take care of the land so well, they want to come back here. Um, it's probably one of the last. This is probably one of the last pure places left for them, so that's why they come back. Invasive speech, there's invasive trees now, like birch. That's new from the 2005 report. More cracks in the mountain are seen. That's new from the '05 report. Really interesting stuff. Giant lightning strike of 2019. There was a gigantic lightning strike by my cousin Caitlin's house. That's my cousin Caitlin's. I drew it. Basically, it came down, it uprooted those two trees, made them stand straight up. Trees are really tough. You know how tough trees are with their roots, right? It basically shifted both of them up, and it created a trench. You see that there along it. It basically carved a trench into the ground. It exploded half her daughter's toy house, and then it ended under her porch, and it blew up. And she said there was a big black coal stain. I saw it myself. and all her Christmas lights were all blown out. She didn't take her Christmas lights down. This was in the spring. But, numerous effects, both modern and traditional. It knocked out our electricity for a whole week. And this is really interesting. According to the native women, it sent an underground shockwave across the land and it killed all the berries. And some native women think it probably killed ground squirrels too. Yeah, it sent some kind of electrical impulse through the land and killed all the roots and probably killed ground squirrels too. I thought that was very interesting. More weather observations. And Audrey says that, look, there are puffy clouds on one side of the sky and flat, misty clouds on the other side. And I was standing right with her, and she was right. And that's, sorry, I interrupted Aunt Audrey. Look, there are puffy clouds on one side of the sky and flat, misty clouds on the other side, and that's not normal. It's supposed to be same all around. So the sky's messed up now, too. Gideon James says the clouds are darker and dirtier from North Slope emissions. The sky is darker. Project director lived in New York and it's starting to look like New Jersey. Alan in my village. Alan Tritt says snow evaporation on mountains results in lower creeks and less fish because the snow doesn't basically that one spring we didn't have a spring. It just went from winter to summer immediately and the snow evaporated, then melt. So it's supposed to melt and then the melted snow creates water runoff from the mountain. That makes the streams and the lakes go up, and that helps the spawning of fish, whitefish and grayling and everything. And Dina says it's been fall all summer. We didn't see a summer. This was 2 summers ago. Plus, some summers it's like that. Some summers it's just different every. Audrey said something really cool too. She said something weird happens every day. And she's right. Like one summer, the main problem is coldness, right? Like Dina said, there was one summer was really cold, no berries, hardly grew, sun was barely out, so no one. There's some Gwich'in people that grow gardens. They couldn't even. There's cloud cover every day. You're not going to grow gardens. It looks, gloomy every day. The land is lonely now. The land itself is said to be unhappy of the changes, according to Kathy Tritt, Gwich'in woman. The snow used to sparkle and they don't anymore. The flowers used to smell and they don't anymore. It's just dead out there. She's right because about 40 years ago, when I was like 3 or 4, I remember my grandpa taking me up to the mountain. There was camps everywhere, kids playing everywhere. You saw big herds of caribou, not by us, but when he went out hunting, ground squirrels everywhere. Up in the skies, you'd see thousands of ducks. And now in 2020, you go up there, you'll be lucky if you see one caribou. There's more planes in the sky, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's ugly, you know? I mean, what would you rather see? A big jet going by or thousands of geese, you know? Hardly any small animals. Oh, the forests used to be thicker and lusher, and now they're like sparse and the trees look sicker. Yeah, as you can see it from the tree on the right, the trees are sicker. No one hardly goes out. Oh, the people change too. No one hardly goes out anymore, especially now when everybody has internet and Netflix and stuff. People hardly go out. And that's why I drew that one guy there, one lonely guy, close to that big, huge, lively camp you see on the top. Concluding statement, the unique contribution that Gwich'in can add to the worldwide conversation and movement on climate change is their intimate ecological knowledge. They know the land more than most people possibly on the planet and can see changes in the land years before the best environmental scientists can see them through computer models. Thank you. Masicho.